All right, so first let's talk about what is going to happen on May 12th. So the exam itself is going to be relatively the same structure-wise. So if we have, we're used to a multiple choice section and a free response section, that is still going to happen. And both sections are going to be the same time that they've always been. What's different is there will be screens involved. So in part one, the multiple choice, all the questions will be delivered on a screen and the students will all answer them on the screen as well. One thing that is different, if you've been teaching AP a while, you know that the first part of the multiple choice was numbered from 1 to whatever the last number is. And then the second part of the multiple choice, all of a sudden we were like in the 70s, right? And that was always kind of crazy. Everything will be numbered from 1 to 45 this year. So we'll have 1 to 30 and then 31 to 45. So that's kind of a nice little transition. As far as free response, things will be different there as well. The questions will be delivered on screens for the kids, but the kids will be answering on a paper test booklet. So that's really the big difference. And I'm very happy that the College Board decided to still let the kids write math on paper, because I was a reader during 2020. And I'll tell you what, it was an absolute nightmare because kids typing math, we're just not there yet. We just aren't. So I'm really glad that they'll be writing in a paper test booklet that will get scanned, and then our readers will be grading those. Another thing to know about the FRQs. So in the past, they've done questions 1 and 2, and then they put their calculator away, and then they keep working on the rest of the FRQs on 3 through 6. They are still going to be able to work on questions 1 and 2 after the calculator time is up. However, they won't have access to the questions anymore. So that's something important for them to know. So if they have left something not completely finished, they can go back and finish questions 1 and 2, but they just won't have a calculator and they won't see the questions themselves anymore. A couple of weeks ago, I did a session on the exam, and people said, so should we tell our kids to write down everything possible? And my answer to that is, I don't think so, because you only have 15 minutes per question. So you really don't want to spend your time trying to recopy the whole question. You want to spend that time solving and getting answers. So I would not recommend writing down as much as you can. Just try to get the problem done. And if there's a little bit that you can't finish, you can do it perhaps later after you lose your calculator. All right. So, and I think I mentioned a lot of these things. So the multiple choice, they will be able to go back and forth. And that's one great thing about Blue Book that we'll show you in just a minute, is that just like with a paper booklet, if they want to jump around from question to question, they can do that. So it's not a matter of, oh, I answered number 2, now it's gone, I can't go back to it. They can always go back. If they're in a certain part of the exam, they can revisit all of the questions until the time is up. As far as free response, something new going forward is that every free response question will now be 4 parts. So when you see that test booklet, it will be split into parts A, B, C, and D, and there it is. Tracy's got it. You're so good. Look at you. So here's question 1, parts A and B. There it is, completely blank. And then the next page, parts C and D, and that's how it's going to look. So nothing will be there. So that means there will be no graphs, there will be no tables, there will be no slope fields, there will be no equations. When they look at that sample exam or that answer booklet, it's going to be absolutely blank. And Tracy has just linked where you can also access that answer booklet. It's also going to be in our folder, I believe. Is that right, Tracy?
Yeah, I downloaded it. We have a folder to share with you guys after this with any links and stuff. So don't feel like you need to hold on to any links. We'll share that folder. I'll email that folder out to everybody after this event as well.
That is awesome. So the problem with the graphs and tables not being in the test booklet means that our kids can't annotate them. So that's something to know going in, that unfortunately they won't be able to do that. But the good news is they know there are certain questions they won't have to do. For example, they will never have to draw a slope field again, because that's something you would do on paper, and that's not going to happen. So some things will be different, but many things I think will be the same.